With Overwatch 2 releasing this week, you don't want to get caught off guard by your nerd friends when they ask you questions about the wider story of the game and why you don't know your Omnics from your Null Sectors. So PC Gamer has asked me, Epic Pogger Extraordinaire, to take you through the background of Overwatch. Please don't ever bring up that Epic Pogger thing with me ever, please. The lore is a little hard to pin down, as it's scattered throughout various pieces of media like comics, animated shorts, write-ups on the official website, and a few other things. There's no way to get what I'm telling you about today from inside the game itself, so you have to get your detective hat on for this and pretend you're playing the Black Watchman instead of the game you want to play, Overwatch. And a full warning, I'm not going to be getting into the history of all sorts of fictional companies and explaining each and every character's backstory, or this video would just be way too long, but you'll get a general story overview and a feel for where things stand going into the new game. And with that being said, our story starts about 30 or 40 years before the call Winston sends out in the original Overwatch cinematic that the first game released with. Our characters live in a fictional world where wars are no longer fought with live foot soldiers, but a mechanical military composed of Omnics. These robots are built in self-sustaining factories called Omniums, most of which have been shut down due to malfunctions. But one day, a bunch of these facilities kick into high gear, creating entire armies of Bastion soldiers, which went to work destroying city centers. It looked like the Omnics had gone all Skynet on the poor people of this world. This event was the start of the Omnic Crisis, a full-scale war that sets up everything that is to come. The governments of the fleshy world are having so much trouble against the machine menace that they decide to put together a team. The United Nations forms the Avengers, Overwatch, to finally put a stop to this fight. The first commander of the team, Gabriel Reyes, an enhanced super soldier, leads the team with his super pal, Jack Morrison. At this time, the team consists of Anna Amari, Reinhard Wilhelm, Torbjorn Lindholm, and a character named Liao. Together they put a stop to the Omnic Crisis, for the most part, and the world celebrates! Jack Morrison soon becomes the leader of the team as Gabriel Reyes takes command of the newly formed Blackwatch, who I'm pretty sure are perfectly not evil. For a good long while, Overwatch are seen as heroes and celebrated the world over. A few minor recruitments happen during this time. At some point, Genji is saved by Mercy and joins the Blackwatch. Tracer suffers what's called chronal dissociation from a failed experiment involving a plane, and is from there helped by Winston, one of the few survivors of a science colony on the moon, who makes the tech that stabilizes her. Also, Amelie LaCroix becomes the Widowmaker thanks to Talon, a terrorist organization who are definitely involved. At some point during this period, May also enters cryostasis. About 10 or 15 years before now, Blackwatch becomes public knowledge, and their not-so-nice dealings paint them and Overwatch in a pretty bad light. Many countries start to become suspicious of them, and they eventually get straight-up banned from operating within the borders of certain countries. This backfires for England when uprising occurs thanks to Null Sector.
Null Sector launched a surprise attack on King's Row. Hundreds were killed, and thousands more were displaced as they took control.
Because they're literally not allowed to help. This doesn't stop our heroes though, as they take the law and ethics into their own hands, and Jack Morrison sends Tracer, Reinhardt, Torbjorn, and Mercy to King's Row to fight the battle. Soon after that, Tracer, Winston, and Genji help capture the Talon leader Doomfist. But the celebrations don't last long, because both Jack Morrison and Gabriel Reyes are seemingly both killed in an explosion that destroys the Swiss Overwatch HQ. Soon after, Overwatch is disbanded by the UN. Over the next few years, some intrepid youngsters decide to take up the hero mantle. Characters like Lucio work to stop gentrification with the power of music. Korea hires pro gamers to pilot mechs, one of which being international celebrity Diva, and Zenyatta is traveling the world spreading some brand of Eastern religion and informing people that robots aren't all bad. And in Egypt, Anna Amari fights against Talon, whilst her daughter goes into military service and becomes Farah. Finally, Roadhog, Junkrat, and now the Junker Queen are... I think they're in Mad Max, or maybe that's just what Australia's like. I'm not 100% sure. This, plus a few more years, takes us to just about where the first game takes place. May wakes up to find Overwatch disbanded, Genji reveals himself to his brother Hanzo and basically tells him he's either with him or against him, and Reyes, now fully transformed into the Reaper thanks to Moira, has resurfaced and makes an attempt to steal the information of all current Overwatch agents, presumably to tie up loose ends. Murder, killing, that kind of tying up loose ends. Winston activates the recall protocol and the band gets back together. Kinda. Tracer is the first to answer, and Reinhardt picks back up his hammer.
I have been called. I must answer. Always.
Mercy and McCree, alongside Genji, all join in.
But I got a call. We're getting the band back together.
But Torbjorn is busy teaching a newly awakened and seemingly peaceful Bastion how to be a person. As they scramble to get back together, the hacker Sombra blackmails Volskaya Industries and butts heads with Zarya, and Doomfist breaks out of prison.
Those who fall will be forgotten. Those who rise up, their names will be remembered forever.
There's some things I'm missing and some things that have happened since then, but this is still a story that's unfolding. And with all the new heroes to play as, including Sojourn and Kikoro, there's a lot left and a lot yet to be learned.
Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Now, you could go to 100 places to find this information, but here at expLOREation, we're going to dive a little bit deeper. Let's ask some questions about what we know and what could happen in future. First, it's important to note that Blizzard has been drip feeding out tiny story details for years since the game launched. And if you noticed a lot of plot holes in my description a few moments ago, it's because there's a lot that we just don't know. Why did Reaper decide to turn against Overwatch and the UN? Why did the Omnics rise up in the first place? And how did the second Omnic Crisis begin? Who are Null Sector? Many have crucified what we've seen of the second game, saying it looks more like an expansion rather than a full-blown sequel, and that Blizzard may have exaggerated the scope of the game to try and pull attention away from controversies surrounding the company. I hope the game fulfills its role as a full sequel by giving us much more story content and really filling in our knowledge from within the game this time. And there's a lot of potential to do so in the PvE mode that won't be releasing at launch and will be available in 2023. But at launch you can enjoy the Battle Pass. For now though, there are new skins, heroes, and maps to enjoy, as well as a new Battle Pass system to get stuck into, because everything needs a Battle Pass, of course. But for now, we just have to wait and see what happens. Here's hoping. And if you want to see another game get explored and analysed, leave it down below. And whilst you're there, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the PC Gamer channel.